What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another NBA 2K26 video. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the newly added builds in NBA 2K26 for Season 2. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Now, I'm a little late on this. I was so busy, so preoccupied with my own stuff that, I totally forgot, to take a look at the new builds, but finally got around to doing it. So let's just get this video out the way. And if you guys can, please be sure to drop a like on the video as it helps the channel to grow, gets the video content out to more people. So with that being said, let's jump right in there. So we're going to start out with the community builds, if you will. So let's start out with the new community build. So for the point guard, they have Kobe Dreamins, point guard, PG 6'5", 193 with a 6'9" wingspan. Just looking at the initial attributes, this is not a bad build. Kind of like it. I would have liked, looking at this, I would have liked two things that I would kind of change about this build. Really three things that I would change about this build. But let's just take a look into two-way three-point slasher. It says this is all-around threat, allows you to be 6'5" while having gold posterizer even before cap breakers and max plus twos, silver limitless range, gold lightning launch, and good perimeter defense and steal ratings. This build has been a community favorite since day one with nearly 3 million views across all platforms. Kobe Dreaming. So obviously people have liked this build. They've watched his video on this build a lot. But just looking at it, the mid-range, the three, I'm not mad at that. The shooting is nice. I like that he actually has pass accuracy on this build. I see so many people going, 71 pass accuracy. I like that this build has free throws. I only play 5, so I like a build that actually has free throws. So when you get to the line, you can actually knock down your shots. I'm not really sure if Kobe Dreamin plays 5s or if he plays Park, but either way, I tip my hat to you. I like the fact that you actually included free throw. I like the fact that it actually has pass accuracy, so you're not throwing Stevies all day. 88 ball handle, which is nice because you can always cap breaker up to a 92 if you really need, the extra ball handle. Or you could just cap breaker plus 2 and get, gold handles for days. 86 speed with ball gets you gold lightning launch. And then, like he said, if you want to cap max plus 1 or max plus 2, you can always do that as well too. Let's see. The close shot is nice. The driving layup is nice. If you want to +5 that or plus whatever it is to get to an 85, you can get up to an 85 for layup mix master. 93 drive and dunk with the 80 vertical, gold posterizer. I wish he had put a standing dunk on this because you're 6'5", you do have access to the standing dunk packages at 40 and 45. So that's one of the things that I would change for sure. Another thing that I would change on this build is the defensive rebound. As I've told you guys in previous rare build videos, if you're any position other than the center, you're kind of going to want to throw rebound on your build this year. Everybody can shoot. Everybody's a threat to knock down a shot, which means the center is going to be glued to his man. He's going to be on a 7'4", or a 7'1", a 7-footer, a 6'11", a 6'10", a 6'9", a 6'8", whatever. Whatever the center is guarding, I promise you that dude is probably going to be a knockdown shooter and is going to be able to hit his shots in the corner. So, you're going to want to be able to help your big by being able to rebound. So, this having a 45 defensive rebound, not good. Obviously, you could probably cap breaker and go up to a 60 as you see how much space he has, and he's 6'5" with the 6'9" wingspan. So you probably can get up to like a 70, 75, 8, probably even an 80 D board on this build if you raise the weight up. Not that I would say you should do that, but I'm just saying you probably could do that. If you're going to cap your speed with ball at 86, then why not raise your weight to get your rebounding up? You're going to drop your speed with ball, but if you're not going up to a 91 speed with ball, or you're not going to cap breaker your speed with ball, it's not going to matter in the long term anyway. You can always drop it and then just raise your rebounding and then throw cap breakers on your rebound. That's just me. But I personally wouldn't want to waste my cap breakers on defensive rebound to go to a 60. Like, that's useless. So I would have just given myself a 60 D board out the gate. The defense, not bad. 85 is always solid. If you're a good defender, you can play lockdown defense with a 74 perimeter defense. With them actually patching and buffing defensive contests, I mean, I was boxing people with a 74 perimeter, but they would sometimes hit the shot on me because, you're just not getting a contest. Whether I had a 99 perimeter, a 50 perimeter, a 25 perimeter, you just still wasn't going to really get a contest on them until they changed or buffed the defense a little bit. So 85 to me is solid. That's what, if you're just an average casual player, that's what you should be shooting for. You can play solid defense with 85. If you're a little bit better of a defender, you can kind of budget that a little bit more, but I like that. 85 sets the standard. Everybody should be running with that. If you're really good, you can probably lower that. Go 82, 85, 82, 80. You could go, 74, 79, 73 or something like that. You can play around with it, but I like 85 as the base. And then the other thing that I would change about this build is that strength, bro. That strength is crazy. 48 strength, at a 6'5 PG, and if you're playing fives, then you're, depending on what your pass accuracy, your playmaking is, you're honestly going to get pushed to shooting guard a lot, which means you're going to be getting matched up against a 6'7, a 6'8. Sometimes I've even seen 6'9s at the 2, which is just absolutely absurd, but it does happen if you're playing random rec or playing with randoms. It can happen. It has happened to me. So that's the only thing I would try to shoot for, at least a 73 strength. 73 strengths gets you some decent, badges for playmaking, strong handle, get you I think gold or something like that. And then on the flip side, you can get I want to say bronze, immovable enforcer. That paired with your on ball menace and all of those badges, and then you +1 to silver immovable enforcer, you can really stop and stonewall a lot of those 6'8s. Like when I get matched up against 6'8s on my 6'4, I really don't have too much of an issue guarding them when they have the ball. My issue guarding 6'8s when they don't have the ball, because when they get past the ball, the pass just pulls them through my body, teleports through me for a dunk or a layup or whatever like that. Guarding them with the ball is much easier, and it's much easier because I have a 73 strength with a 74 perimeter. I'm able to bump them. I'm able to, stonewall them with immovable enforcer. And you got to remember, these 6'8s, these 6'7s, they're not putting strength on their build. They're all going minimum weight so that they could be fast as hell, which means if you get bumpy with them, you bump them, they're not going to just be able to just blow past you, push past you. They're not. You're going to stonewall them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes that I play against and gold and purple lobbies, they're afraid usually to just shoot over you. They really don't want to shoot over you. They see 6'4 and they're 6'8. They're like, I'm going to run over you. And it's like, it's not going to happen when I have a 73 strength and you have a 48 strength with an 86 ball handle. It's just not happening. I'm sorry. So this build, while not bad, there are, again, like I said, some few changes that I would make with the standing dunk, the D board, and the strength. Doesn't really have interior defense or block, but if you're going to be on the perimeter and you're guaranteed to be playing a 1, you don't really need it too much. But the issue with that is I like to have a little block interior just to stop people from rim running, because if you're going to depend on your center to help, what that does is just creates an open 3-point shot. You get beat, your center goes to paint, you rotate to his man, but because you're 6'3", you're not going to really, or 6'4", 6'5", you're not going to really be able to contest a 7'4" or a 7'1" like that too well. So, and you're going to be rotating over late to get to a 7'4" or a 7'1" or 7-footer or 6'11", whatever. You're going to be rotating over late to a center that's wide open in the corner. So do take that into consideration. But overall, I would give this build, I would give it a 8 out of 10. I would say this build is solid. I think this is a build that anybody can get on, and like a newcomer can get on the game and play with this build and be decent. I don't really see any too many glaring issues with a build like this. It's well-rounded, all-around type of build. Moving on, we have the shooting guard from Joe Knows. Shooting guard, 6'8", 185, 7-foot wingspan. Again, the 6'8s that I was talking about that roams, you're looking at the 6'8s that roams. A two-way dunking meaty maestro. This insane all-around 6'8 build is optimized for cap breakers. Use 5 on ball handle for 86, 2 on speed with ball for 80, and 2 from specialization on mid-range. Then use your future cap breakers on perimeter defense to a 96, speed and agility. This is the build Joe Knows plays with on YouTube and Twitch. Joe Knows. So everybody knows, for the most part, if you watch YouTube, Twitch, or whatever 2K content, you probably heard of Joe Knows. Even if you don't really watch too many YouTubers or Twitch or anything like that, if you're looking up videos about builds or, you know, content on the game, then you've probably come across Joe Knows on YouTube. So this is his two-way dunking MIDI Maestro. Looking at this, again, this is just your typical, you know, meta 6'8 build for the most part. Close shot, driving layup, driving dunk, 87 MIDI, 83 3 ball for limitless, plus 2 that for gold if you really need to. 85 pass accuracy. You skimp out on the ball handle and speed with ball, because with the cap breakers, that'll rise that ball handle up to an 86 ball handle, and then it should up your speed with ball up to 80 as well too, so you can get blur takeover, so you can blow past people when you have takeover. 70 O board, 62 D board, which means you'll have bronze rebound chaser, plus 1 or plus 2 that if you need to. 92 perimeter defense, which can goes up to a 96. 62 steal. You know, I'm guessing we'll be able to, you know, cap breaker that up as well into the 80s at a minimum. 78 blocks, 60 interior defense, meaning you'll have paint patroller and you'll have high flying denier. You'll be able to chase some blocks down, get some jump contest in there, and then 88 speed, 88 agility, which is kind of freaking nuts. I did not realize 6'8s could get, because every time I played around with 6'8s, my 6'8 would have a little bit of strength on them, because I'm a firm believer in strength. Even this year, I know so many people want to skimp out on strength, but I'm still a firm believer in strength, especially when it comes to playing defense and stopping people. But 88 speed and 88 agility at 6'8 is absolutely diabolical. Excuse my French. That's diabolical. I didn't think a 6'8 could get that fast. I thought they had around like an 85 speed, 85, 86 agility, somewhere around there, just because that's what I played around with when I was making my 6'8. But 88 is absolute insanity, you know, especially with an 86 speed with ball. And then that's not even, you know, taking into consideration your takeover. You could get like what, plus 8, so you're looking at maybe like a 90, 92, 94, 96 speed, 96 agility. That's just gross. That's just gross. Not gonna lie. I like this build a lot, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired of seeing 6'8s. I hate 6'8s. So personally, I debated whether I wanted to make a 6'8 or a 6'10 for season 2, and I'm leaning a lot towards 6'10s. This kind of makes me want to think about making a 6'8. Not gonna lie, but I'm leaning towards 6'10. But again, like I said, not a bad build. Not a bad build. So far, I'm actually, you know, impressed with these community builds, just because last year majority of the community builds that I've seen were terrible. They were god awful. So okay, wait, going back to that one, two-way dunking MIDI Maestro, I give this build, I think I would give this build a 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. I'm right there with it. I like this build. I like this build a lot. I hate 6'8s, but I like this build a lot. The only tweak that I would make is I would probably put more rebounding on this build, just because, you know, again, like I said, if you play 5s, you're going to really be the one that needs to go out and grab that rebound. And I know Joe Knows plays 5s. He plays rec. He plays Pro-Am. He plays a lot of Pro-Am. That's why you see he got that 98 free throw. He plays a shit ton of Pro-Am. And I've even caught a stream or two of his, you know, when the game first came out, and I was watching him play and grind Pro-Am. So, you know, this is a build that you're going to really want to have some type of rebound. You're going to have the speed, you're going to have the agility, you're going to have the vertical to get to the rebound, but are you going to have the attributes needed to actually get the rebound over somebody who has an 80 D board or 80 O board, 85 O board, 85 D board? You're probably not. But again, it all comes down to the player and how they play. If it's not really your job, or you're the one that's going to be taking majority of the shots, doesn't really matter about rebounding because you're not going to be down there to rebound anyway if you're shooting, if you're the one shooting. But that's just something that I would like to put on that build. That's just me. Moving on, we have I want to say Bauer. I don't know if that's Bauer, Bauger, Bager. I'm butchering the name, but my bad, bro. Small forward, 6'7", 214, 7 foot. It's a two-way mid-range bully. This build can guard any position on the court, no matter the size, whether it's getting a stop on the perimeter, stealing lane passes, or shutting down the paint. This is the build for you. We can shoot from anywhere on the court, make elite passes in the half court, rebound, and dunk. This is viable for all game modes. Now, off the rip, I'm just calling cap, bro. There's no way you're talking about you can make elite passes in the half court with a 71 pass accuracy, bro. Like, I'm really not trying to hear that. Now, I am on this channel, you know, saying that 76 pass accuracy is solid, but I wouldn't say 76 pass accuracy is elite by any means. Yes, I haven't thrown a single pass out of bounds, throwing full court break starter passes with a 76 pass accuracy on my 7-1. But again, I wouldn't say it's elite though, even though I haven't thrown a single turnover, you know, knock on wood, haven't thrown a single turnover yet. I've thrown intercepted passes, but I've never thrown a pass out of bounds so far. But again, like I said, I wouldn't say that's elite. 71 on anything is not elite. That's not what I would call elite in any sense of the word elite, you know. 85 pass accuracy, I probably still wouldn't call elite. When you get to the 90s, that's where you're probably, you know, calling elite. So I'm probably calling cap on that. He says rebound, you know, which you can rebound, you know, 70 O board. I don't know, man. I don't know. 70 O board. But then again, you also have to take in consideration this build and the system that is playing in. It's probably suited. This build is probably optimized to play the exact way it needs to in the exact system that it needs to, right? That's also something I'm not taking into consideration. But again, looking at the attributes, off rip, not a fan of the finishing. This doesn't really have any type of finishing on this build, which means that if somebody comes over to contest you, it's going. If you play with meter on, your meter is just completely fucked. If you know the timing of your layups and whatnot, which maybe you have layup timing off, then sure, you might be able to get that off. But for the most part, you're probably not going to have any finishing badges with this build. I'm thinking what, like bronze paint prodigy, right, with the close shot. No dunking badges, no layup badges. You might have float game bronze because of the close shot. I honestly don't remember what level you get float game at. I know you can get float game with layup or close shot. I know paint prodigy is 73 close shot, so I know you got bronze paint prodigy. I know 72 standing dunk is bronze rise up, but outside of those two badges, I don't think this build gets any finishing badges. You got solid shooting, 89 midi, 83 three ball, bronze limitless. I'm assuming the cap breakers, you're gonna cap breaker your ball handle, you know, get that ball handle up, get that pass accuracy up, hopefully. Speed with ball as well, cap breaker, get that up. The defense is nice though, I will say that. I love the defense on this. The defense is absolutely solid, especially with cap breakers getting that interior and that block up. You will be able to really swat some shit with this build. You know, 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. Then you got the 94 perimeter and then the 91 steal, which I'm guessing you can cap breaker that to like a 96 steal and then 99 perimeter, which is just going to be, you know, wrecking havoc. And then you still got an 88 speed, which you can probably cap breaker up to like 90 something if I'm looking at that correctly. 86 agility, 85 strength, which I love that he put strength on this. I love that. And then I would probably just want to put that vertical up. I would want like around a 75, really like an 83 vertical for that pogo stick, just so I can, you know, jump and get those contests. So many people, you know, they don't call offensive three at all in this game, and dudes will just sit there and just pump fake 97 times. And I love having Hall of Fame Pogo because I'll just keep jumping with you every single time, bro. Like, if you get lucky and you're able to time the meter dunk, then kudos to you. But 9 times out of 10, if I'm jumping with you every single time you're thinking about going up with it, your meter is going to go haywire, bro. But that's just me. As far as this builds go, I would give this build a 7 out of 10, bro. I'm not going to hold you. I would give this build a 7 out of 10 just because I don't like the fact that it has no finishing, bro. Like, this is one of those builds where, like, for me, it's just too one-dimensional. You're just going to strictly be, going for shooting, in my opinion. And if you're a lock, I guess, if you're a lock or a 3-and-D player, then this build is perfect. I would give it a 9 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? A 10 out of 10. If your goal is strictly to just be 3-and-D and just space the floor, play defense, perfect build. But just overall for a build that's not playing in the system, you're going to be playing with any just random people or just random friends and whatnot. You're going to want some ability to dribble the ball. You're going to want to be able to pass the ball. You're going to want to be able to create your own shot. You're not going to be able to do that with a 61 ball handle, 63 speed with ball. But obviously, if you cap break it that's obviously going to go up. You'll be able to really put in work with this. But my main beef with this build is the lack of finishing, bro. No layup, no dunk. If you get pulled out of a dunk, you're probably going to miss with that layup. Probably not going to really be able to catch no oops or anything like that. You're probably going to get disrupted, or, the ball's going to pop out if you do. I just don't like the no finishing aspect of it. Everything else on this is solid, though, I will say. Moving on, we have the power forward. We have the triple double threat from YouTube Elite Sauce JC. Power forward, 7 foot, 227 with a 7 foot wingspan. This build flips the script on a traditional back end power forward. It's a 7 foot cheat code built to stretch the floor, push the ball, snag boards, and dime teammates. With no weaknesses to report, this isn't just a build, it's a triple double threat for domination in Pro-Am, the Rec, and the Park. Now, I like that he put in domination, for Pro-Am and the Rec. It isn't just a typical Park build. Love that. Somebody who likes to play fives, this is going to be a build that you could run with in the Rec, Pro-Am, Proving Grounds, and you'll also be able to make this viable in part because you see it has some speed and agility on it as well too. Looking at the attributes, close shot, layup, driving dunk, standing dunk, post control, love it. This is perfect, bro. And the reason why I say it's perfect is because this build is versatile. If a dude is face guarding you and you're spotting up, guess what? Now you can cut back door because you have a layup, you got a close shot, you got a driving dunk, you got a standing dunk. Hey, throw it in the post, give it to him in the post. Look, bam, now you posting up. You got an 80 post control, 79 strength. You got an 80 post control, 93 midi. If you want to post fade, you can post fade. If you want to, post spin, you can post spin. If you want to drop step, you can drop step. If you want to standing dunk meter him, try to dunk on his head down low. You know what I'm saying? You have a variety of ways to score. And then you also have the threat of shooting with the 93 midi, 93 ball. You'll have deep bomber as well. You'll have silver limitless, to which you can +1, +2, 90 free throw, 87 pass accuracy, which personally I think it's overkill, but I do like the fact that you are actually, prioritizing passing to your teammates. So I like that as well. 71 ball handles for days. Be able to put the ball on the floor. 61 speed with ball. Cool. Rebounding is decent. As long as you're not getting put at center, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And even if you do get put at center, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be at the 3-point line. You don't need a 99 or a 95 or a 92 really this time around because you're going to be at the 3-point line anyway. Then you got the defense. You got the 82 interior, 62 perimeter, 60 still to play a little passing lanes with bronze interceptor, 74 block. That is the only thing I don't really like about this build. Everything else, solid. Block, I would like to get like around an 84-ish block minimum. Anything less than that, and dudes are going to be dunking on you. Dudes are going to be dunking regardless. Dudes are going to be dunking. They're going to make bullshit layups on you regardless because interior defense has been trash in this game for like the last 4 or 5 years. So it doesn't really matter. I will give you that. But I would like to have at least an 80 for a block, you know. And then if you want to cap breaker up to 88 for like high flying denier or something like that, I do have that added, you know, ability to do so. But 74 speed, 60 agility, 79 strength, which can go up to an 84. 83 vertical, again, like I was saying earlier, for the Pogo stick, Hall of Fame Pogo, I believe. I like it. I like this. This build, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Very nice, versatile, all-around build that you could pretty much do it all. Personally, I would just drop the pass act a little bit. I would drop the pass act down, speed with ball down just a little bit, and then I would probably try to get that block up. But outside of that, solid build. I have no really issues with this build. This was a solid build. Now, moving on to our last build. At center, we have Julian Shines, center, 6'11", 282 pounds, 6'11 wingspan. We have the board hunting skilled popper. This center build should be used by players that want to be a big force in the paint, but can still shoot lights out. Hit that clutch leaner to end the game, which they're not really doing those anymore, you know, unless you fade it from midi. And even do a couple of simple dribble moves when needed. This is the build for centers looking to dominate all aspects of the game. And more importantly, I like the ending and have fun. Like it. That's what's up. Looking at this, 85 close shot, 60 layup, 73 drive and dunk, 72 standing, 60 post control, which is not too bad because you can probably cap breaker the post control up. But to me, not having no post on this build is kind of the 60 layup, I don't really like. The layup is very important, and the reason why the layup is important, because when you get pulled out of your dunks, right? I love the fact that it has 73 drive and dunk. I prioritize 73, 74 on my builds that aren't specifically finishing builds, because you just need enough to get posterized. You just need enough to finish a two-hand dunk without the ball popping out or whatever like that. I like it, but, you know, the layup is needed because when you get pulled out of that dunk, it's going to go based off your drive and layup and rating and your close shot rating. You do have the close shot, which is nice for if you get pulled out of those standing dunks, but you're going to want a little bit higher drive and layup. So I try to shoot for at least a 70. Give yourself a fighting chance at finishing that. But outside of that, the finishing is solid in my opinion. Shooting also solid. 90 midi, 93 ball, got deep bomber. If you want a cap breaker up to like 92, 93 midi, you can get that set shot and whatnot. 65 free throw is not it. I'm not gonna hold you. 65 free throw is not it. You lost me with that one, bro. That's definitely a strike. And the only reason why I say that's a strike, because you got finishing on your build. Now, if you didn't have no finishing and you're like, I don't plan on going down in the paint at all, which I guess, you know, it is a skill popper build. You probably don't plan on having any intentions, but you just put enough just to finish, you know, a little pick and roll or whatever. Dope, but I need some free throw on there, bruh. The pass accuracy, 76, as I said before, solid. 75 ball handle, solid. 55 plus speed with ball, solid. The rebounding, a little overkill, but I like where he's going with it because he's probably going to cap breaker up, go to a 99. Offensive rebound, you know, which is why he has the 282 pounds, because that bought his the weight bought his rebounding up. So that's why he went 282 pounds. He's 6'11", but he's 282 pounds. So he's 6'11", 6'11 wingspan. It brought his rebounding and all of that stuff down, but then he put the weight up, brought his rebounding up, brought his strength and all of that stuff back up, which is, you know, cool or whatever. You know what I mean? Brought up his interior defense. All of those things went up. So you'll be able to cap break out to 99 old board. That's dope. 82 interior defense, 74 block. As I said, not really a fan of that. You know, I like to hit that 84 plus for the block. No perimeter, no steal, meaning that you aren't going to really get too much of a contest. Like if you're coming over late to contest somebody, you're just going to just shoot in your face. But I mean, you're big. You're not really probably planning on. You're probably just going to be planning on phase guarding people anyway. Like my objective, even though I have a 62 perimeter, is to just not let nobody shoot. I'm going to deny the ball and not even give them the chance to shoot. So, you know, if I can't do that, then it is what it is. But 66 speed, 53 agility, 92 strength, which probably goes up to like a 96, 97, and then 82 on the vertical, which you won't get Hall of Fame Pogo. unfortunately, because it looks like that 82 vertical is maxed out. But yeah, I would have probably, dropped my weight a little bit. But if he dropped the weight, he probably lose the 99 old board. So that's probably why he went exactly how he did. But that would probably be the only changes I would make. I would, definitely get some free throw on there. Definitely get some layup. And then definitely get the block up there as well, too. Maybe the perimeter. But this is a decent build. 7 out of 10 for sure. 7 out of 10. With those changes, I would definitely raise that up to like an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. But definitely, I would definitely need to make those changes if I was playing on this build. But there you have it. These are our community builds for Season 2. Quick look at the new NBA builds, because they did put some new NBA builds. So these are the Season 1 builds, and then these are the Season 2 builds. So for point guard, they have the LaMelo Ball, dynamic playmaker, passing skills, rival the best, can score efficiently from all 3 levels, respectable defender. So looking at these stats, 6'7", 180, 6'10 wingspan, 85 layup, 75 drive and dunk, 80 mid-range, 87 3-ball, 95 pass sack, 90 ball handle, 80 speed with ball, so you get blur, handles for days, 83 speed, 80 agility, which you can cat breaker that up, 50 strength, 65 vert. This isn't too shabby. Not too shabby at all. 67 steal, so you got bronze glove and bronze interceptor. 82 perimeter, get you like what, silver challenger, bronze pick dodger and all of that stuff, on ball minutes and stuff. 60 D board for bronze rebound chaser. This is not too bad of a build, decent enough build. Like 45 on the standard dunk, so you get those standard dunk animations as well too. Not mad at this build at all. Then for the shooting guard, we got Anthony Edwards, 6'4", 225, 6'9 wingspan, explosive scorer, relentless attacker, highlight dunks abound, high level shot creating skills, good on ball defender, 78 close shot, 88 layup, 93 driving dunk, 42 on the standing dunk, which doesn't really matter because you don't get the standard dunk animations under 6'5", 79 midi, 89 3-ball, 74 free throw, 76 pass sack, 86 ball handle speed with ball for, ankle assassin and all of that, lightning launch, 60 D board for bronze rebound, 87 perimeter, which I'm guessing you could cap break that up to like a 92, maybe 92 plus depending on the build. 73 steal, so you're looking at silver interceptor, 86 speed, 85 agility, 60 strength, 80 vertical. I would like to get that strength up. The only real issue with this build is that you're 6'4" at shooting guard and you are guaranteed to be playing against 6'8" majority of the time. There are some occasions where I get put at the 1 when I play rec, but for the most part, I'm usually getting put at the 2 or even the 3 sometimes at 6'4", and I'm almost always going to be guarding the 6'8", unless I'm at point guard, in which case I'm guarding 6'1", 6'2", anything from 6'1" to like 6'6" at point. So it really all depends, but again, still decent enough build. Then we have small forward. We got Vince Carter, 6'6", 215, 6'9 wingspan. Gravity-defying dunker, will posterize anyone in his path. A load to handle in transition. Athletic on-ball defender. 76 close, 88 layup, 96 driving dunk with the 85 vert, meaning you will have Hall of Fame posterizer. 72 standard dunk for bronze rise up. 79 midi, 89 3-ball, silver limitless. 71 pass sack, 80 ball handle, 75 speed with ball. Off the rip, I like this. I just don't like the 69 free throw because it's just like you got an 88 layup and a 96 driving dunk, which means that you're going to spend majority of your time slashing and dashing to the basket. 69 free throw is you're just throwing points away at that point, bro. Like at a minimum, you should have an 85 free throw because you are going to be shooting a lot of free throws on a build like this. So that right there is just a no-no in my opinion. Rebounding, 48 D-board, terrible. You want to have some rebounding on a build like this that's super athletic, that's quick, has high vertical. You'll be able to snatch some boards. 85 perimeter, 60 steal. That's solid for staying in front of your man, playing good defense. Not mad at that at all. That's decent defensive budgeting. Personally, I would probably drop down to 74, or even, if you feeling it 82, and then get that steel up to like a 67 for bronze glove, or even 73 for silver interceptor. 83 speed, 79 agility, 53 strength, 85 vertical. We kind of want to get that strength up as well too, but that's just me. And then for the power forward, we have Blake Griffin, 6'10", 251 with a 7'2 wingspan. Rim wrecking finisher, explosive. Paint is bread and butter, but can shoot a bit. Gets on the defensive glass. So we got 84 close, 80 layup, 93 driving dunk, 90 stand-in with 85 post control, which I love. Makes your build very versatile. 78 midi, 73 ball, 66 free throw. Not a fan of the free throw, as I just said for the last build. You got so much finishing, you're going to want to be able to hit your free throw. So definitely would want this free throw to be higher than that. 73 is solid because with cap breakers, as a big man, you get a really big boost to your shooting when you have low shooting for cap breakers. So you can probably max that out with like 5 cap breakers, honestly, with a build like this. So the 3 is not going to be a problem. The 78 midi is not going to be a problem. 65 pass accuracy, you'll probably be able to cap breaker that as well too. 77 ball handle with the 86 strength will get you like what, Hall of Fame strong handle, if I'm not mistaken. I think Hall of Fame strong handle. 60 speed with ball, I'm not mad at that at all. 75 O board, 85 D board is solid. 75 interior, 62 perimeter, which can go a little bit higher into the 70s, which I would definitely cap breaker. That same with the steal and the block as well. Not too high on the defense, but with cap breakers, you can make this build really good defensively. And then the physical, 72 speed, 60 agility, 86 strength, 80 vertical is decent enough to get your job done. And then for the center, we have Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1", 290 with a 7'7" wingspan. Physically imposing presence, rim destroyer, aggressive post game, monster rebounder, strong as an ox, protects the rim, bruh. Now, I don't even need to say much about this build. Like, this is just a walking liability. I've seen 1 or 2 builds like this in the rec, and the people that play on these builds are usually some of the most selfish fucking people you will ever have the pleasure of playing with. They usually want the ball every single time, and I don't blame them because their man usually don't have high enough interior defense or strength to stop them down low. But they'll still go up with it. Like a build like this, you're supposed to just push them under the rim and just dunk on them and drop step them until the double team comes. And then when the double team comes, you're supposed to hit your teammates out for a wide open look. But what usually ends up happening is this person ends up trying to go up on 2 people. The game lets them score maybe once or twice on 2 people. And then they spend the rest of the game just trying to force shit on 2-3 people in the paint. And it just ends up with them starting out 6 for 6, 7 for 7, and then they end up finishing the game like 8 for like 17, 8 for 22 or something, 10 for like 25, just going up with the most asinine shit possible, like just the most brain dead shit that you will ever see, just going up with it because the game let them score 1 or 2. So it's like, well, I should be able to do it every time. So yeah, not a fan of builds like this. They can be just absolutely insane in the right hands and with the right mind state, though, because it is extremely hard to stop somebody when they have that high of a close shot, standing dunk, strength, post control. I would probably go higher on the post control, though. Like 80 post control is kind of crazy when you should be rocking like an 87 or like a 91, 92, 93, somewhere around there. With that high of a strength, yo, you are going to put dudes in the rim, in the ground, like they're not doing anything to stop you. And then you got a 96 O board, so even if you do miss, 9 times out of 10, you're going to grab the rebound and go right back up with it. So, yeah, this build in the right hands, just absolute nightmare. But most of the time, it's usually in the hands of somebody extremely selfish. So they usually end up just not being able to dominate like they should dominate with a build like this. And then last but not least, we have the Pro Toon builds, which I'm not really sure which new builds because we got to run through all of this to see which ones they added. But I think this time around, I think they added balanced to the Pro Toon builds. So I think all of the Pro Toon builds, let me just look, shooting guard, let's go balance. Yeah, I think so. All the new builds are under balance. So For the PG, we have a 6'2", 220, 6'3" wingspan. PG, deep bomber with handles to keep defense honest. Explosive around the rim, a pesky defender who can take steals coast to coast. Inspired by Baron Davis. So, looking at this, 74 close shot, 75 layup, 89 driving, 84, 94, 85 perimeter, 91 steal. I like this build. I like this build because there's definitely room to improve. You have cap breakers that you can, obviously get up to like a 99 three ball. That driving dunk and finishing is absurd at 6'2". I think that's something that definitely needs to be patched. That is crazy. That there's not really too many 6'2" dudes that are dunking like that. That's elite level dunking. But yeah, bro, this is insane. And then with cap breakers, you can get that steal up. You can get that perimeter defense up. Personally, and then you got the 65 interior, so you can try to fight for your life down there in the paint if you can. I think this build isn't that bad. Like if I was gonna make a 6'2" build, it would look very similar to this. This is exactly how this build would probably look. Honest to God, if I was to make a 6'2" type of build. Then for the shooting guard balance, we have dual threat, 6'5", 220 with a 6'9" wingspan. Well-balanced two guard. Game is built on having few weaknesses. Can score well from all three levels. Gets teammates involved and defends based on Clyde Drexler from the Portland Trailblazers. Decent finishing. Really solid defense. 85, 85, 69, 65. Solid shooting with 88, 83. 60 on the rebound is somewhere, so you get bronze rebound chaser. 85 pass, 86, 86 with this ball handle speed with ball. Yeah, this is a solid build. Solid build. Not mad at this at all. Like, honestly, I'm looking for somewhere where I can critique it to where I'm like, I don't like this, or this is trash. But like, I'm being honest, this is solid all around, bro. Solid all around. You'll be able to do, pretty much everything. And then if you cap breaker your post control, standing dunk, maybe get your standing dunk up a little bit to like a 45 so you have all of the animations, and then cap breaker that post control, free throw, not a fan of that low free throw, but outside of that, like, I really don't have any complaints about that build. This build is solid. Then we have the small forward. Wait, small forward don't have anything in under balance for the new one? So I wonder what the new, okay, it's under defense for small forward. Okay, Locksmith. 6'5", 215, 6'10 wingspan. Already not a fan of this because at small forward, if you make a small forward, you play with randoms, you're going to get put at power forward a couple of these games. But let's look at how the build looks. But already not a fan of this at 6'5", small forward. That is suicide. Imposing wing defender, can guard the 1 through the 3, and even some power forwards in the pinch. I'm not too sure about that. Has a good 3-ball and can rise around the rim. And inspired by Amen Thompson from the Detroit Pistons. Now, I want to say this. If you play with randoms, this is not a good idea to do. There have been times on my 7-1 center I've gotten put at power forward. And I promise you, if you're guarding me at power forward with a 6'5", my 7-1 is putting you in the rim every game. Every time, bro. And I don't even have crazy stats either, bro. I got like a 65 post right now with like a 84 strength and like an 84 close shot, but I'm going to post fade the shit out of you. I'm going to drop step the shit out of you. I'm going to post spin, and I got a 95 standing dunk, so I'm dunking that shit on your head every single time. Like, I would under no circumstances would I make this build unless you are only going to be playing with the team and you know that you're never going to get put at the 4 or the 5. You know for a fact that people you play with has a power forward and a center. You're always going to be put at the shooting guard or small forward. Then this is a decent build. I'm not mad at this. But if you get put at any other position of the 1 through 3, you're going to be in for a very long day. I promise you that. So I personally would not be making those 6'5" small forwards. That's just not me. So for our next build, we have the power forward Pro Toon build, 6'11", 213 with a 6'11 wingspan, called the bucket. It is a masterclass offensive juggernaut. Smooth player who runs the floor with ease, can pull up or finish in a variety of ways. Nice back end shot blocker, and it is inspired by Paolo Banchero from the Orlando Magic. And honestly, I'm looking at this build. I have nothing bad to say about this build at all. Last year, the Pro Toon builds, again, sort of similar to how the community builds were. A couple of decent gems here and there, but for the most part, trash. The Pro Toon builds, in my opinion, the best thing that I can say about the Pro Toon builds last year were they had some of the best names in the game. Like, the Pro Toon build names for 2K25 were absolutely fire, but the builds were straight dog water. This is a decent, solid build, bro. I have nothing bad to say about this build. There's literally nothing that I can critique this build on besides maybe two things. And that would be the interior defense being low, like really, really low for somebody who might get put at the power forward or center position, who might, well, not might be get put at the power forward position, but might get put at the center position. 70 interior defense. I love the block, but the interior defense should be higher. And then, the free throw. That's really it. Everything else on this build, solid. I would like to have higher strength, but I totally understand people foregoing super high strength. But yeah, the interior defense and free throw definitely need that higher. You can, if you can finesse this build to where you got like a 77, 82 interior defense, and get the free throw up to like a 70, 75, solid. I have nothing bad to say about this build. I would probably because I don't know, you really need the ball handle for strong handle, right? Like, I'm trying to look and see. Actually, do you even get, I don't even remember if you get strong. Yeah, you do get strong handle. You get gold, and you probably need 73 ball handle, because I think you need 60 for bronze. You need something for silver, and then I'm guessing you need 73 for gold strong handle, so you wouldn't even be able to drop the ball handle. I was going to say drop the ball handle to 71 for bronze handles for days, and then use those points to throw into the free throw, but you probably need 73 for gold strong handle, so you couldn't even do that. You need 68 speed with ball for bronze lightning launch, so I don't know if there's anywhere you can really take away, and you don't want to take away your speed because you want to be as fast as possible. I like the 70 O board, 80 D board. Like, I'm really not sure there's anywhere you could really take away, and not lose a badge. 79 post control gives you post fake phenom. 81 standing gives you silver rise up. 87 driver dunk gives you posterizer. 85 layup gives you layup mix master. 84 close shot gives you paint prodigy silver. There's really no place for you to remove attributes except for maybe perimeter. Perimeter, I don't think takes away a badge. I think you can go all the way down to like 73 and not lose any badges. But outside of that, there's really not much you could do, I think. That won't just outright make you slower. Like, you would just have to outright make yourself slower. So, yeah, this is a very solid build. Solid build. Then we have our center build. So, let's see what the center build is. Center build is outside scoring. Center 7'4", 230 with a 7'4" wingspan. The archetype is tall order. Imposing face up 4. I don't know why it's saying face up 4 if it's a center build. Can shoot over anyone at a high clip, a lob threat around the rim, accurate passer, solid paint protector and rebounder, inspired by Kristaps Porzingis for the Atlanta Hawks. Looking at this build, pretty much your typical 7-4 build that everybody makes. 85 D board, O board, the block, the interior defense, the perimeter, like, the 89. The only thing is, I'm shocked that they have the mid-range max, because most of the builds that I see, because they cap at 89, they usually just go 89-3 and then leave the midi down, whatever it is, and then just put that elsewhere. But 64 free throw, not a fan of that, just because of the finishing on this build. But yeah, this is just your typical 7-4 build. So there you have it. These are the new builds for NBA 2K26 Season 2. We went over the community builds, the NBA builds, and of course the brand new Pro Toon builds for NBA 2K26. Hopefully you guys stuck around. This was quite a long one, but I wanted to put all of the builds, condense them into one video. I didn't want to make multiple videos for, you know, just 4 or 5 builds, but hopefully you guys stuck around. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and of course subscribe for more NBA 2K26 content. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.